Uh, the border crisis obviously continues, and its effects are known to some extent, but there are still so many mysteries, including just how overrun our America's communities have become because of the Biden administration's decision to allow foreign nationals to just pour into our country. For more on this, I want to go to a guy who's been on the front line of this story for a long time. He knows a lot of the details. Todd Bensman. He's a senior national security fellow at the Center for Immigration Studies and the author of the book, Overrun, How Joe Biden Unleashed the Greatest Border Crisis in U.S. History. Todd, good to have you back with us, sir.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Let me start with your activities of late. You have been tracking a story of an island that is just off of our border between Texas and Mexico. That has been apparently overrun by the cartels. And now Greg Abbott has done something about this. Tell me what's going on.
Right. Very fascinating story. And it's also a less told part of the broader border crisis, which is, focused mainly on immigrants, right? People coming across in huge numbers. But I think we forget that, when Border Patrol is off processing those people in, the Mexican cartels on the other side are having a field day with drug trafficking and contraband smuggling with weapons and cash and all the rest of that. Well, there is a spot down in the southern tip of Texas, an area around Roma and Fronton, that has an island, a big one, 170-acre island. It's called Fronton Island, actually, because there's a small village there of about 180 people called Fronton. And over the years, Mexico and the United States forgot who owned it. And if you don't have permission from one side or the other, you can't put law enforcement or soldiers on it. So everybody forgot, but the cartels were able to take advantage. And they moved in, and they have been using this thing for 15 years as a staging ground for weapons smuggling south and north, and hard drugs like heroin and cocaine north through there. It's a very remote area, and they're heavily armed. It's the Cartel del Noreste, and also the Gulf Cartel control this area. And these cartels are paramilitaries, really. Probably best described. They have tanks. They have homemade armored vehicles, shoulder-fired rocket-propelled grenades and claymores, and fully, automatic belt-fed machine guns, 50 and 30. And they show no hesitation at all about shooting cops, American cops. They've done it. They've riddled Border Patrol boats. And the Department of Public Safety, under orders from Greg Abbott, decided we need to figure out who owns this island because it's really becoming a problem. And they did surveys and figured out that the whole thing belonged to Texas. As soon as they had that information, they invaded this thing on Monday. They went in with full force of arms, Texas Rangers, elite, special response teams, and elements of the Texas National Guard, military, went in there in force and just took it. And they are now, over the next 6 weeks, in the process of denuding the entire island of vegetation. And then they will be putting bunkers in and defensive fortifications throughout the island, all over this island. And then they're going to just stay there for, months. And it's a very interesting operation because, Texas, as we all know, is down there and they're being aggressive with immigration. And they're doing a lot of patrolling and that sort of thing. They'll chase smugglers and whatnot. But this area is different because the area right across from the island is overlooked at a higher elevation tactically by these very heavily armed and angry and aggressive cartels. They can shoot down on this island. They often have. They do. They probably will again. And so this is sort of an in your face, we're taking you on sort of a thing. hoping maybe that the cartels will just pack up and maybe go around them or go somewhere else or something like that. But they may not. They may. We may hear more about Fronton Island as time wears on here.
Yeah. So when Texas went in on Monday, it sounds to me like they didn't face armed resistance taking the island.
No, they were prepared for it, but in advance of this, they made it really known to the other side that they were going to go in, and that they were going to go in with, heavy weapons and, with a lot of ammo, and we're going to, engage if necessary. And they also arranged with the Mexicans to have the military sort of go in there, and the military has a hard time controlling that side. That's the problem. Is the military, the Mexican government does not control that area. I'm sorry, they just don't. So there was this agreement where the Mexicans agreed, yeah, we're going to bring our military in on that side and clear them out. But that is no comfort at all over there.
Were there?
So there was.
I'm sorry. Were there people on the island, or did they vacate it before Texas authorities got on it?
It was vacated by the time they got on. I mean, listen, this is the kind of area where, word travels very fast.
Right.
And the Texans are coming with a lot of, long rifles, and, they're coming in force.
Yes.
So they were gone. But that doesn't mean that they're going to stay gone.
Right.
I think the Texans are hoping that they'll stay gone and maybe go somewhere else for a while. But.
So if the cartels set up a base of operations on U.S. soil, and as you just said, Texas established that it is U.S. property, this island, then why does it take just Texas to resolve this? Shouldn't the federal government be involved in ejecting a foreign military force that is in the United States?
Well, remember, nobody knew who owned the island until Texas did the surveys. So it was the same with Border Patrol. They're not sure. Nobody knows if you can't go onto Mexican territory without collaborative permission, and collaboration there. So Border Patrol pretty much just stuck to the river with their boats. Occasionally, somebody might go on there for a specific purpose,
But this is not a new development, is it, Todd? I mean, this has been happening. You said 15 years the cartels have had control of this space.
This has been going on for a long, long time. It's just gotten really bad lately. The Mexican cartels, though, I'll say that nobody really knew who owned the island, but these cartel guys are all over the town of Fronton. They make shore there regularly. The people that live there have property that goes all the way to the riverbank. I spoke to one of them not that long ago and asked for permission to go onto his property, his riverfront property. He says, no way, you can't go on that. They're there, and they'll kill you, and then they'll kill me. It's a silver or lead sort of situation in this little village of Fronton. I interviewed a resident there who his property doesn't go down to the river. He's off kind of to the interior a little bit. And I asked him, hey, do you ever go talk to your neighbors or go over there? And he says, I haven't been to that side of town in 30 years. I won't go over there.
Oh my God.
I said, why not? And he said, I'm afraid. And I said, well, why are you afraid? And he said, are you filming me? I'm going to sue you. And he left. The fear is very palpable over there. The cartels have been on our side. They've been intimidating the populations there of farmers and ranchers for a very long time. So the Texans decided, well, let's figure out who owns that island and kind of end this. And
this is happening on the American side. I mean, this is sovereign American territory. We're not just talking about the island, inside of the United States. And people are living in fear that the cartels control whether or not they live or die.
Oh, that's an absolute fact. I mean, the little village of Fronton has been, cowering in fear for just years and years and years, because the cartels, if they're not occupying the town of Fronton, they can just say, I'll be visiting you later if you don't do what I what I want, or look the other way while I use your property to move this package of heroin over, or these kilos of coke, or whatever it is. And so lately, though, the Border Patrol, they've been redeployed to processing duty for the immigrants. And Texas saw this as a just over the top breach of lack of security, and I think that's why they decided to finally just make a move on this. But it's going to be dangerous. This is a higher risk kind of operation than anything that Texas has done or is doing anywhere else.
Somebody's got to do it, though. So let me shift gears to another place in Texas for a moment that's getting some attention. Not a lot of attention, but there's a development called Colony Ridge that is near Houston that the Daily Wire has done some extensive reporting on how it is basically an entire community of illegal immigrants. They say the population is between 50 to 75,000 people, and if you go there, you'll find that many of the homes actually fly foreign flags from whatever countries they came from. The homes are kind of shoddy. They're not hooked up to running water. They're under construction. They're unfinished. They're tents. We have a whole city in the United States of America that is springing up that's just illegal immigrants. What do we know about this, and how common is this?
Well, this is another circumstance that's been around for a long time. The development really kind of sprung up about 10 or 12 years ago. A developer who figured out that he could sell land directly to people, low income and illegal immigrants alike, by just simply using ITIN numbers and charging them extraordinarily high interest rates for their risk in lending money. And it really took off. So in the last 5 years, it's really boomed. The people who live there say that they are illegal. And the people who are not illegal say that most of the people around them are illegal. The police say most are illegal. The developers are denying that now, but so it seems to be in some dispute. But it is a very rapidly expanding. I mean, they are clear cutting, just thousands of more acres, preparing for, I guess, to sell to the latest, immigrants crossing the border. And why this sort of matters now and is in the news now is just because I think the border crisis just drew attention. So many millions of people are entering the United States, and they have to live somewhere, and New York and Chicago, and everybody's complaining that there's nowhere to house them, and Denver and everybody else. And here they found a place to house, and maybe this is what it's going to look like elsewhere in the United States. But that attention has captured the attention of Governor Greg Abbott, who recently declared that this is going to be a special item on the next legislative special session starting Monday. He also, so they may consider legislation having to do with this community. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but some people are proposing that the state impose a conservatorship on this, very large populous community. Then the governor also ordered a very significant surge of Texas Department of Public Safety troopers into there. That started on Thursday to kind of, start to do law enforcement, more aggressive and comprehensive law enforcement in that area, which the local police and the sheriffs there tell me has been largely absent, and especially at the federal level. ICE doesn't go there. DEA only occasionally goes there. And so it's just kind of, the state stepping in to kind of take charge of things for the moment.
Yeah, they say that there has been a lot of crime in that community. In fact, Daily Wire reporting this week that there was a teen earlier this week abducted inside of the town. Two suspects are on the run. Gunshots were heard. A lot going on. Aggravated kidnapping, aggravated robbery. So there's a lot of chaos going on in this little community. that has sprung up out of nowhere and is populated by illegal foreign nationals in no small part. Todd Bensman from the Center for Immigration Studies, I appreciate your time as always. Thank you for getting firsthand experience on the ground and sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you, sir.